another 50.
Yeah. So, we're live at 11:05, but it's a little past 11:05. IMBC, and we're not at Spirit Cars. We're, what's this, Hershel's Fine Barbecue?
Or whatever.
Whatever. So we talk about, you know, eating at Hershel's all the time, so you can eat at Hershel's with us. We've got to,
Yeah.
actually, you got kind of, we had to put the leaf in the table today.
Yeah, that's right, man.
We put the leaf in the table, got a few more. I have my special guest, Larry, here,
Yeah.
and we're going to talk about education today.
Good. We need to.
Well, we got three educators here from a different kind of a thing. You're a pastor, that makes you a teacher.
Yeah.
I gotta get my guys to understand what we're doing. I gotta teach our industry, what our process. And you come from a education background.
Yes.
You were an industrial arts teacher.
Yes. Building trades, helped in building trades, and then I taught auto mechanics.
So how long ago did you do that?
A long time.
Long time.
I think they closed the VOTEC in 92.
So we closed the VOTEC,
In 92.
and I guess we don't need cars anymore.
No, they were gonna do away with cars. Go back to horses.
Go back to the horses.
That way they could fertilize at the same time.
That didn't work out. Now we're going to electric, and there's still gonna be a little span between getting your phone and having the car just show up in your driveway, and we'll still have to drive. Although you got a driver, so do I. We both have drivers.
Yes.
We got great wives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen to
But
that.
you get old, and you can't do as much. This guy works like a horse though. And you can't get around as good as you can, but your mind is still working good,
Most of the time.
most of the time. Well, I tell people when I get too bizarre, just at least tell me. Don't let me just be too crazy.
Them hot dogs.
We got an issue in this country. What's going on?
Yeah.
Bidenomics.
Well, no, it ain't that. It's our culture.
Oh,
What-
yeah,
I don't care who
definitely.
we got. I don't care who we got in the office. I mean, well, on that, I think God is giving us what we deserve.
Well, you know, the further you get away from God's teaching, the worse off you're going to be. That's just natural.
So, okay, here's the direction. You were both asking, where are we going with this? What's the direction? Fundamentally, you gotta either believe, are you created or aren't you created? And we're created. We are created, and we're created in the image of God.
Right.
And we should be creators.
Okay, so we should, since we're in His image, we should be creators.
Yes.
We're not the creator, but we should be creative, because that's how God made it. So there's a verse that says, train up a child in the way they should go,
When he's
and
over.
when they're old, they won't depart from it.
Right.
Now, the religious world can take that and say, we're gonna brainwash them to believe like we believe, and you act like we tell you to act, or even education can do that. This is how you're supposed to be, if you don't learn because, you don't learn because the way I teach, it's your problem, not mine. This is what I think that verse means. God created you to be who you are. He's given you gifts that I don't have. He's created you to be who you are.
Yep.
He's given you gifts that I don't have. We're all different. I think what that means that we are supposed to help our young people understand who they are and train them up in who they are.
With the word of God.
Of course, because those principles apply to everything. We can, in the car world, we always come up with a scripture for something
Yeah.
that applies. If we're in the army, we could do that. If we're a farmer, we could do that. I don't think we're training our young people to be who they are.
Well, the Bible says, study to show thyself approved, the work that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. A workman. Whatever you do, it should be used in it. That's what a problem is. We're further away from God than we've ever been, our country.
Well, so I'm not a guy that likes to point out problems. I like solutions. So we've been talking, we got a school. It's a charter school. And part of the charter says we're supposed to be, it's called College and Career Academy, but most of these kids aren't college bound for sure. and we've been using it more like a institution of incarceration. If they get in trouble, I'll send them to the alternative school.
That's been the history.
That's been the history.
It was the history whenever I was at the VOTEC.
So that's why I'm asking you, how do we, you turn that corner, how do we get there again?
Well, I think one of the most important things is work ethic is missing.
Okay, absolutely.
Now, how we instill it in the young people, I don't know, but we need to find out. We need to instill it. They need to have pride in what they do.
Yep.
They don't have.
Train.
They need to be trained. They need to be given a skill. Or
That's what you were doing.
Or develop a skill.
Okay, develop a skill.
Develop a
But that is giving a skill. If you take your time, you take your knowledge, you're giving it.
Yeah.
Now, can somebody receive that?
I think with the proper guidance, yes, they can receive it. And it's important that we get it out there, and not just one thing, not just college. College isn't for everybody. You know, I went to college. It was a requirement in order to teach. But that guy right there, or that guy, is probably better to teach their courses than I would be.
Okay.
You know, you need the skill to teach the skill. There's an old saying, teachers teach, workers do.
Right, what you just said, you need the skill to teach the skill.
Exactly.
I'm noticing that we've got a really great program, and I asked the board and the superintendent, why do you think our white coat program is so good? We've got a partnership with Harvard. Why do you think that's so good? And they all had some answers. I said, you know why it's so good? Because we have a nurse running that program that knows how to teach. It's not because we have an educator teaching curriculum. I mean, how can you teach welding if you don't know how to weld?
Very difficult,
It's very difficult.
very difficult. Even if you know how to weld, it's still gonna be difficult. But you have the upper hand. You can do it now.
I like that, you have the upper hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time that I brought a person into my last business, you know, I always looked for people that were hungry. But it seemed like we've lost a hunger for that in our youth. With all the new technologies and stuff that people have, our kids were brought up with games and computers, and now when you start talking about going out and getting a regular job and actually doing some work, it's hard to get them in the groove, as you might say, to do that, the mindset for it. And that's what
Okay, well, I'm not totally disagreeing with you.
Yeah,
You worked with me, made a commitment to help build a motor with the young people at the school.
yeah, sure did.
Dan was there too.
Yep,
Those students were involved.
they were tickled to death.
They were excited. They were involved.
Yep,
They got engaged. You were able to engage them quickly. To the point when we didn't show up one week, you couldn't make it, you were doing a funeral, they wanted to know, where's them old guys at?
we're those old guys.
Where's them old guys at? So I don't think the age thing has an issue. We may be slower and can't do as much, but we can engage.
Of course, you picked and chose the ones that wanted to do this.
No, we didn't.
You didn't?
No,
Oh, really?
no. There was a couple that didn't engage,
Oh, I remember that.
but those students, I'm gonna go back to the train up a child in the way that you go, and when they're old, they won't depart from it.
Yeah,
They were engaged because that's kind of who they were. Their mind worked that way. They looked at that. Did you see the picture of the one girl that had her hands all dirty?
yeah.
She had the biggest smile on it, showed me
Yeah.
her dirty hands.
You remember the one guy that sat over there and he sat on a stool and wouldn't participate? And before it was over, you know, he was over there leaning up trying to see what we were doing. His interest was being more, he got more into it as the time went on, even though he wasn't interested in it.
So I am not gonna sit here and go, well, they're not learning because they want to do something else and
Yeah,
it's their fault. No, it's our fault.
yeah,
If we don't know how to engage them, where they're at, how do we expect them to be involved?
I agree with you there, but you still, you know, when you said raise up a child in the way he should go, you know, that's it. You know, a lot of parents are not doing it.
Well,
And it's what a problem is. I see it all the time being a pastor, and I talk to parents, their child, and they didn't go to church, but now later in life, they decided something's been missing, they find Christ, and now they regret not sharing it with them. And then here they go to school, and they wonder why their children in school are trouble, have things going on, and they're not interested in anything. It's training at home. It starts at home, like you said, the parents.
That is what it is. Public education, we get them all.
Yeah, we're gonna get them.
Yeah.
Whether the parents do it or not.
Yeah, that doesn't,
And it should.
Have you ever seen people in your shop class that weren't interested at first and then became more interested?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about.
And they do it because of, you tweaked their interest somehow.
okay,
You
yeah.
tweaked it somehow.
You got it.
You might not know how you did it even,
Yeah.
but you keep looking for a way to do it. On every kid, you need to look at that kid and
I like what you
develop the
said.
course for that one,
I like what you said, every kid.
every kid, and develop it for that one. Meet their demands.
That's right.
Yours is different. Hers is different.
That's right.
Everybody is different.
Yeah.
So you've got to reach in and find it and put it to work.
I wish you still teaching.
Well, we're wanting to put an advisory board together for this charter school. Education doesn't need to tell me what I need. As a manufacturer, I know what I need. I'll tell education what I need. And work with education if that's possible to accomplish what I need.
You've got to reach in and tweak what they want. You've got to reach the kid. It's difficult. I had 120 kids in the automotive, and that's high school. So they're not gonna be mechanics when they finish that course. I mean, 2 hours a day, come on. They're not gonna be a mechanic, but they've got some kind of direction, and they've decided what they do like to do. And what they do like to do is hear that car rev it up,
Yeah.
you see the tires smoke, it doesn't matter. One of the biggest things that the kids remembered forever and ever over at the school was one of the kids got out there and just burned them.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes. Now, we'd all gone to jail. Yeah. But it sure motivated a bunch.
Cool.
Yep.
That's somebody finding a problem with that.
Yeah.
They called us.
So here we are. I mean, trying to redevelop industrial arts to be a viable solution. What I'm seeing now, oh, they need to go to more school. Let's send them to the college now for another 4 years. And we still get them. They get a piece of paper and they think that they can get a big paycheck, but they don't have the knowledge to do the thing. I'm inclined to think by the time a student is going to be working with their hands, a plumber, electrician, a carpenter, a mechanic, a body man, whatever it is, they should have the fundamental work ethic
Yes.
and kind of a direction of where they want to go. They could enter into industry under a program of, I don't know how many apprenticeship things we have anymore, but
There's a number of them.
unless you learn under the master of the trade, you can go into the industry and you can start making a living.
Yeah.
Rather than accumulating debt, getting another 3 years of a college that didn't get you prepared for the industry.
I agree. I don't believe college is the answer at all. I believe.
For some things.
Yes, but it's not the answer for the world by any means. Every kid, all of us have to go out in the workforce and do something. We have to do something. And 9/10 of it is gonna be a skill, a plumber, electrician, a mechanic. You know, now, you might go ahead and go beyond that and become a manufacturer, like you do. That's several steps above, but they started somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, where I started was in a work program at the school.
Yeah.
And I was not into school very well. I knew how many credits I needed. I accumulated what I needed to do, got my thing. I was only half credit away from graduating, and I seen no value in getting a diploma, so I quit. And I started my career. My parents weren't happy. So I did go to night school, get my half credit, and graduated before the rest of the class. But I have been a lifelong learner. Now I can sit home at night and I can watch an MIT course on YouTube in mathematics or whatever. It's crazy. For free.
Yeah,
We can't stop learning. But we need to get to a point where there's a work ethic and we need to be a productive part of society.
How do we do it?
So I like to lead by example. I mean, there's different styles of leading. I mean, you can sit in the boardroom or in the boss's chair and say, do that, do that, do that, do that, do that. Or you can get in front and almost pull and create a wake in the direction you're going and create a team. I mean, so if you have a motivated team with expectations are not so high that you can never get them, but they're so high that you barely achieve them. And if you achieve them, you know that your expectations were too low. There's just something about having a day where you did something, you can go, I accomplished that, you go home and there's a satisfaction for that. I think that's universal.
Yeah.
I don't think that stops. Whether you're playing video games. If you're playing video games, your goal is to get to the next level.
Yeah.
You're focused on getting it, and there's a satisfaction, but then there's another level on top of that. We're never done. I mean, we're all old. We could go sit back and into our little world, and I could be content sitting on the porch, watching the season changes and being the farmer.
I don't think you could.
No, but it's,
You would think you could, but it's our place to figure it out.
it's our place. I think somewhere there was a gap in being a productive citizen. You were talking about the concept of somebody can squat in your house and you have no authority to kick them out. Our culture is getting a little wonky. But I think a young person really wants to be a success. They want to have hope. They want to see a future. We do the what is it called? Tuesday night. Garage sale on the Hot Rod Highway. And somebody even said you're looking like a used car salesman. Which, it's not what I want to do, but it's fun. This guy's a great used car salesman.
It's not bad.
No, it isn't. No, it's not a bad thing, but
You don't have to be the one that lies, cheats, and steals. You can
well,
be the good guy.
you be the good one. But I got thinking, what is it we selling? What are we selling? What we're selling is the American dream. I mean, the American dream is we can be whoever it is we are. We have the freedoms to worship differently. We have freedoms to express ourselves. We don't have to be in a fight. We're not going to talk politics. Some people might like our current president, some may not. You know, we can disagree on that. We can disagree a lot on that. But that doesn't make us enemies with each other.
Shouldn't.
It shouldn't. We're in a place right now where we had the flu. So, okay, the world shuts down for the flu season. And then we use it for an excuse. We're still using it for an excuse. And the supply chain is messed up.
Yeah.
Let's just take today and move ahead. So I want to move ahead.
You're saying leadership, lack of leadership, you just got through talking about.
Say if we're leading by example.
So if what people don't realize is you say, I'm trying to look at the large scope, but what I think we're missing is exactly what he said. Each pupil, each individual pupil, he developed a relationship with and talked to them and trained them. Each one took more training or less. It was what you saw. You were a leader. They saw you. They knew you could do it. And each one of y'all, I don't care who you are, there are people that are watching you. And
Exactly.
and they're seeing you perform your life the way that seems to be right in your own eyes. And then what happens is, sometimes your reflection, the reason it talks about the light so shining in the Bible, what they see in you, they may trying to live more like Christ, or trying to do their job, or try to study harder in school, or have more leaders in school that have the same vision that y'all have. It's leadership vision, and it takes a heart that wants, as you have, brother. It's one thing I tell you, you have a heart for children.
Absolutely.
He wants people to learn, and that's the only way you're gonna get people to learn. I found they even preaching. You have to keep their interest. You got to keep it, and you're doing that. You did that, and this is what we've got to do.
It's not over yet. He's not.
Oh, I know he's not. He's here today, isn't he?
Well, so I'm multitasking today.
Well,
is
I'm
what I'm
talking.
doing.
I'm gonna shut up. I'm ready.
No,
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
We enjoy
you're
it.
my best sidekick. You keep me on track.
That's right.
So I'm multitasking. I'm getting a live 11:05 done. I'm getting a good lunch. I'm getting to hang with friends.
Yeah.
We're getting the message out.
Got a hot dog.
But mainly, we're practicing for tomorrow.
That's right.
Because tomorrow, him and I are meeting with our superintendent.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I want.
Did you know that? Because he's bad to do that to you.
Well, he mentioned it one day.
He does that to people, including me.
That is also a leadership quality.
Yes, right. Amen.
Well, so you surround
He sneaks up on them and kinda
you
sucks
surround
them in.
yourself by people that are better than you are,
Right.
and it always makes you
Just
look
like
good.
it.
So that's a good thing. In leading, by example, and I wasn't gonna say this, but I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
And it is what it is. I'm putting it on the table. There. How it happened, I have no idea. But we get 10 personal days for teachers at school. Do you not think the students are watching that when a teacher misses class 10 days in the year? You know what would happen if an employee,
How do they get a personal day?
I wasn't there.
Oh,
If you don't take it, you get paid for it. Personally, I'd say just pay them. There is no personal day, because now we gotta hire a substitute. You know what gets done when a substitute's there. And the example of, if I had employees missing 10 days a year, there would be serious discussions about absenteeism. You can't run a business that way. It doesn't work that way. All right, I'm not taking it off the table. But I said, there's other ways to fix things, but we have got to do more than the minimum. Getting by with the minimum is not working. We've got to go, I would have loved to build that car today, or this year in the school. But it takes more than just us building a car with kids. If we wanted to build a car with kids, we can grab a couple of kids from youth groups and build a car here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need to do it with the school. We need to build something that is gonna be here after we're long gone, and we're not here much longer.
That's right.
So what you had going? You had an industrial arts program. It was off campus. Tell me a little bit more about it.
the VOTEC.
The VOTEC.
It was set up as an area VOTEC,
All different schools could be part of it
in the area, yeah.
in the area.
Yeah, Yeovil, Flippin, Cotter, Norfolk, and Mountain Home. And it was off campus of any of them. And they bust the kids in for a 2-hour class, high school classes. It was 10th, 11th, and 12th. It could be only 2 years, but it could be those levels of education. I'm sorry, my voice gets kind of thin. Anyway, the school was actually come under the junior college in Harrison,
Okay,
and the funding come through the college. That's where the problem developed. They changed the setup on funding, and we lost our funds.
well, okay, so that's the bureaucracy of it all. What about the students? How did you get the students? Did they want to be there? Did they get in trouble to get there? Or what was the reason for them being there?
They had to actually sign up and take the course.
Okay.
They wanted to be there. Now, they might want to be there because they didn't want to be the other place.
Whatever.
You know, I mean, that works too. When they had their sign up for different classes, I would go to the school and I recruited.
We were talking about that. Some of our best classes, the teachers are out there going above and beyond and recruiting for their, whether it be a FFA or some of those,
I
yeah?
knew that we got funds by how many students we had. We got $1,000 per student for 6 months. I wanted my $1,000. So I would recruit. And I recruited in other ways or tried to get students. I kept the shop open on Saturdays.
Okay, so I was gonna ask you about the Saturday thing. You told me about being there on Saturday and kids come in just because they wanted to, or what was the deal with that?
They come in because they wanted to, or they could come in to make up time. If they'd missed days of school, at that time, I think it was 12 days, they were allowed 12 days per semester. And if they missed more than that, they would fail automatically. That's a good thing. The kids would miss the days, and I gave them an opportunity to make it up. Time and a half for missing.
So if they came in on Saturday, they got time and a half credit.
Time and a half.
So how did it work for you? Did you get time and a half pay then?
Oh, no,
Or did you get a stipend for that?
no,
Would you get extra pay for that?
I got satisfaction.
You got satisfaction. Wow. So you went above and beyond.
Well, it wasn't to me, but
Well, it wasn't to you, but
yes.
that's where we're at. I mean, that's part of our problem right now. How do we get motivated to do that again?
Well, now,
Well, we just had an issue here where we're late for live at 11:05 because it was 11:01 and it was lunchtime. Somebody else couldn't do something, so Nathan had to go take care of business.
there was no lunchtime. There should be no lunchtime. It's set aside, but if a
except,
kid needs you, that's what you do.
I'm gonna walk it back a little bit though. You're a teacher. You're a teacher. There are teachers, it doesn't matter if you get paid or not.
Yeah.
You'll be teaching somebody something somewhere, somehow,
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Which
start-
you're already doing. You mentoring my son-in-law on on storage units, or whatever. But then in every industry, there's people that are just there for the paycheck and the pension, which is absolutely fine. It's the way it is. But the bar is too low. If you're just there for a paycheck and fine, that's fine. But we're gonna raise the standard. Doing the minimum is not gonna make it. It's not making it. I mean, look at where we're at. I mean, we're out of here pretty soon. It ain't gonna really affect us that much. But we got grandkids. I wanna leave something better than what we got.
If you set it up, even though you tease me that I'm over there running a place on Saturday that, not getting paid for it, I'm getting paid, just not in monetary means. I'm getting paid because I know that kid's gonna come over there and work on Saturday to maybe make up time, or just because they wanna work on their car. And they're gonna develop an interest in that car. I mean, they did. They'd pull the hood off, climb right up on top of it, little blonde girl, take the carburetor off and say, I'm gonna rebuild this. And I said, wow, I hope we got enough time.
Yeah. But they get satisfaction out of accomplishing something. We have a community full of an asset that we're not using. We have a generation that has experience and they're retired and willing to come and help. I know because basically everybody in this room is willing to go help for free. it's not free, it's your time, it's your energy, there's a cost to it. I think somehow in public education, we need to have a balance between, I'm a professional and this is how I do it, which is good. When you've got a lot of experience in something, it takes that. And our experienced teachers need to mentor our new teachers, because we're not gonna burn the house down to rebuild it.
Yeah.
We might need to tweak a few things. Overall, Mountain Home, I love it. We got great teachers, we got a great education system. I'm not wanting to be negative, but I'm the guy that always wants to be better.
Yeah.
And no matter how good you are, I won't be happy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
if we achieved it and we set the bar too low, we're gonna do more.
if you're gonna have good teachers, we need good leadership for those teachers. Okay? All of the whole chain has to be shaped up, however, or else we won't have it. You've gotta all raise that bar. Not just you, or me, all of us. And we have to get the school wanting to raise the bar.
Need to be welcome. That's my issue now. I'm not gonna do anything where I'm not welcome. I mean, that's a biblical principle too. I mean, God's not gonna go where he's not welcome. You know, why would we wanna go where we're not welcome? Why would we wanna be in the middle of a fight where I can do other things, you can do other things? Not that we're gonna run the show and know how to do it, but I wanna be part of the solution. I don't wanna be part of the problem.
How are we gonna find the solution?
I've been reading the charter. We have opportunities at the Guy Berry School to do some of what we're talking about, so hopefully we can do that. I'm not a real smart guy, but I should have brought it. I wrote a thesis on education. I think I got it down to 18 words. But basically the concept was applied education. We need to give young people an education that they can apply, so that the day they get their diploma, they can enter the workforce and apply their education and become lifelong learners at that point. Because it doesn't end with a diploma, it doesn't end with a certificate, it doesn't end with whatever the next thing is, until we're not here. We're gonna be learning something.
Yeah.
I think the solution is finding guys like you willing to step up, like you, getting participation from the industry of the area. This industry's got a lot of boating and a lot of, what we do in this area. Get industry to get excited to be part of education, but then education has to be welcoming. There needs to be a coming together of minds, not my way or your way. This Mountain Home says, excellence in education, every student, every time. Our goal is excellence in education, every student, every time.
Whenever the VOTEC existed before, they had a individual that went around to industry and found out what they needed and set up courses for them through the VOTEC.
That's a good note to end on. You just gave us the start of a solution. Seriously, you did. Why don't we have somebody going around to the industry in this area? What do you need? How do we take our students day one after graduation, or even before, get them in a work program? Or I've got a young man that's going to be mentoring with me. He's a homeschool, but his parents contacted me and he wants to work 1 day a week just to learn. Just to learn. These kids can have good paying jobs day one out of high school. It's possible.
Yeah. I know the boat company here a while back needed 150 welders or something, some crazy number. And they were willing to teach you to weld.
Yep.
Gotta give us some incentive, huh?
Yeah.
So we need somebody to talk to industry. We need a bridge. We need a bridge.
Excuse me.
Okay,
I don't know how.
I've got to get this one.
all right. He's gotta go to work. I gotta go back to work. We had lunch.
I'm gonna eat lunch.
Yeah, there's still some more there. Mine got cold. I'm gonna have some more. Well, that'll be it. A long 11:05, but, it wasn't our normal one. But I'm glad you came. I sure appreciate it. We were gonna get together we got together. We'll be more specific tomorrow when we talk to Allison though.